Tonight on News 5 Live, Shine Barrow grabs the reins at the House of Representatives. Belizean fishers rail against licenses for non-Belizeans. Over 55s on the chopping block at Sitco, and find out how you could win a luxury staycation just by getting your vaccination. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdseye, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1940.
It's a hammer, it's a drill, it's Super Handy Dads. That's right, folks, it's Super Handy Dads month again at Brothers Event. And do we have some super gifts for that super special dad? A Super Handy Dad needs his super tools. And all month long, we're giving you super savings of 15% off all power tools and accessories from Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, Bosch, and 15% off Santool hand tools and hardware. So come in today to Brothers Habet on Barrack Road for Super Handy Dads Month and pick up those super tools at super savings.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, June 22nd. I am Sabrina Daly. It is not the proverbial white smoke that heralds the selection of a new pope. But on Monday evening, Shine Barrow declared himself as the new leader of the opposition in the House. For now, Patrick Faber retains his seat as leader of the UDP, despite a move from within to have him recalled during a special convention of the United Democratic Party. It is a significant development that has unfolded overnight. Nonetheless, according to the Mesopotamia area representative, it has been months in the making. The latest round of scandal, says Barrow, reflects poor leadership on Faber's part to unite the party since last year's second leadership convention. Earlier today, News 5's Isani Cayetano sat down for a one-on-one with Barrow following a meeting with the new Governor General to declare his leadership. UDP Chairman Michael Perifete also weighs in on the change in leadership. Here's our first story.
The United Democratic Party is once again at a turning point. Despite being elected as leader last year, a move is afoot internally to recall Patrick Faber following the release of a video which purports to show him charging in the direction of the mother of his 2-year-old daughter. In the last 24 hours, we have seen the emergence of a new leader of the opposition from among 5 elected parliamentarians in the House of Representatives. Shine Barrow, the member from Mesopotamia, has stepped forward, completing another phase in what is being described as a palace coup.
I'm not operating in a vacuum. It is not Shine Barrow that wrote the Governor General. It is the Honorable Hugo Pat, the Deputy Leader of the UDP, Honorable Denise Barrow, the Member of Parliament for Queen Square. After deliberations with the constituency leaders who got together 300 delegates to recall the Honorable Patrick Faber, and after deliberations with the members of the House who, although the member from Albert didn't sign, initially she was on board and she believed that the actions of Patrick Faber warranted such an extreme response.
The decision to write to Governor General Ferla Salam comes hard on the heels of a campaign that was recently launched by members of the party to garner as many signatures to trigger a recall convention. Last Thursday, the results of the petition were delivered to the office of the chairman at the UDP Secretariat. While those numbers surpassed the threshold, Faber still holds on to his seat as party leader, pending the outcome of a recall convention.
I was informed yesterday that a majority of the 5 UDP members in the House decided to inform the Governor General that the Honorable Shine Barrow will be the new leader of opposition business in the House. He is leader of opposition business in the House under the Constitution that is allowed, but the Honorable Patrick Faber is still the leader of the United Democratic Party.
In the House of Representatives, however, the reins will be handed over to Barrow following a few formalities in the days ahead.
As a matter of a technicality, the Governor General would call me in and swear me in or issue some instrument, making it a technicality. But as a matter of practicality, the Constitution says clearly that the leader of the opposition shall be he or she who enjoys the majority support of the opposition members.
From the outside looking in, almost 1 year after Faber was elected leader in the Second National Convention following the Lev Derman fiasco that rocked the party, the UDP continues to implode. But what does this mean for the once powerful party?
As you know, we have a recall petition in place, and we believe that more than the required amount of people have signed that petition to proceed with a recall convention. And we will be meeting this Thursday with the Central Executive Committee of the party to chart the specifics of that convention going forward.
Barrow says the larger issue is preserving the integrity of the organization rather than safeguarding Faber's image.
It is not a matter of, well, the video is not incriminating to the extent of filing criminal charges. It is clear what we saw in that video. There was a back and forth, a contemplation, then a violent surge towards a mother and her child. So we as an institution have to make a decision. Do we protect Patrick Faber, or do we protect the institution and our credibility and our quest to re-engage the public and to restore their trust and confidence in us so that we can be the alternative to what is happening now?
UDP Chairman Michael Perfeet outlines the course of action once the recall convention is successful.
Well, I think the Honorable Hoover Pat, as the first deputy leader of the party, and the member for Corozal North, he will be the one to take over the interim leadership. And once he takes over that interim leadership, the UDP constitution says that within 3 months, there must be a convention for a new, so to speak, full-time party leader.
The move towards recalling the party leader, says Barrow, has not been an easy one. This would only be the second time in the party's history when a party leader is removed via a palace revolution.
This was not an easy call, but it was almost an instant, obvious, clear-cut direction that we needed to decide whether or not we're going to show the people that we are serious about change, that we are a new UDP, or we're going to do what has been done for the past 40 years. Oh, that don't blow over like one lee breeze. Don't worry about that.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
The move to recall Faber's leadership of the United Democratic Party, according to the new leader of the opposition, is in part the result of Faber's refusal to seek help for what is being described as a pattern of domestic issues. Barrow told News 5 earlier today that Faber's apology was a first step. However, he needed to go beyond just saying that he's sorry. But what about Shine's own detractors? They have also raked him over the coal for a domestic incident that allegedly involved him and his wife. It's an accusation that he maintains has been publicly retracted.
Here, I feel is an opportunity for us to take corrective measure, to go beyond the perfunctory apology and say, you know what, there is a pattern, I need help, to seek help. And that was the suggestion of the executives. I know at least one executive made that suggestion to Patrick, that listen, why don't you take a leave of absence and say to the public, you accept that you have a problem and you're going to seek help and you will return. He outright rejected that suggestion, and that really is what led to his demise. You know, the interesting thing about those that are now saying he without sin cast the first stone, so that means none of us could be in Parliament, none of us could be at any level of leadership, because certainly everyone is with sin. Though I had been accused, there was that process ended within a few hours. There was a retraction and my wife went on to endorse me. But that has made me hypersensitive to the matter of gender-based violence, as it should.
Barrow will officially take over as leader of the opposition following a swearing-in ceremony. But many still see him as a political newbie with the 2020 general elections, serving as his first real foray into Belizean politics. So how will he hold up amid what appears to be a sustained attack by members of the Briceño administration? That's the question we asked him today.
You are now the leader of the opposition. You are the face of the United Democratic Party in the House. But you're also a neophyte politician. You're a newcomer to politics in Belize as a first-time era representative. And it would require some fairly thick skin for you to stand up to the blows that are dealt in the House, as we've seen seems to be par for the course for politicians these days at the House. How do you plan on being able to represent not only the people of your constituency, but the party on a whole, seeing as though you're a relative newcomer?
I can tell you that, I won't say who, but one of the best speakers in the House of Representatives ever complimented me on my last performance as to what an outstanding performance it was. So I don't think there can be any question as to my performance in the House.
You've been asked to check with your father, and all of these insults have been hurled against you in the House.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. That reflects poorly on the people behaving in that fashion. That doesn't reflect poorly on me. And in my last presentation, where I was commended by the Honorable Karim Musa for my presentation, my intervention on crime and violence. So there can be no doubt as to my capacity to contribute to the debate.
Coming up, fishers gather in protest. Find out what they say is the latest threat to their livelihood when News 5 returns.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Cardinal Newman once said that our greatest security was that we can still be shocked by sin. But my greatest fear is that we have lost our sense of the seriousness of sin. Sin, though the size of a man's hand, holds a tornado in its grip. Sin is a seed that, when sown, brings forth death. Sin is a stain that taints man's immortal soul. Sin is subtle. Sin attacks or attracts, and then it attacks. I heard of a man who captured a baby python and he carried it home as a pet. The man was a snake trainer, and he trained the snake to perform with him in a circus act. One night he entered the specially built glass cage to perform his act before a capacity crowd. Slowly the snake began to wind itself around his body until all but his head was enclosed. Suddenly the man began to scream, and the bones in his body began to break and be crushed as a mighty python crushed him to death. The once harmless and powerless pet had become the instrument of his death. Don't wait too late to discover that this is exactly what sin does. Don't play with it, flirt with it, or court it, lest one day at an unexpected moment it will destroy you. The Bible says sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Don't become an illustration of sin's finished product. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
So I'm going to wonder if by chance I could get your number. Digit. Nice.
Of course, you have digital, right?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is, your credit lasts way longer with Digi. Like if you top up with like $30, that could last you 90 days. With the other guys, that must save 60. Then with the other guys, you have to use all of your good prime credit before you even touch your bonus credit. But with Digi, you could use your bonus credit before you even touch your prime credit. Like, what are the point to have free credit if you can't use it how you want? So, what are your number?
Just give me one moment.
The truth is, only Digi offers nationwide LTE coverage,
fastest mobile data speeds, and the best call quality. Since its launch, over 900 students have successfully completed the Social Security Scholarship Program.
I am Fatima Che, co-founder of L3Gs and Associates and owner of Fatima Arche Group of Consultancy Services. In 2009, I graduated from the University of Belize with a bachelor's degree in accounting. And I'm very grateful that Social Security had given me the opportunity by offering me a scholarship to pursue my career.
I am Renata Samuels. I am the Yearport Coordinator for the Department of Youth Services. I received the Social Security Scholarship for high school in 2010. Upon receiving it, I was beyond happy, thankful, and super relieved to know that I relieved my mom from the financial constraint of having to pay for my high school. It actually pushed me to work even harder to know that I am deserving of this scholarship. I implore others, apply for this scholarship. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, as well as being one step closer to your own dreams.
The Social Security Board is committed to providing educational opportunities to persons on a mission to improve their lives and communities.
Corruption is a disease that has devastated our country for over 40 years. How do we know this? When the government of a country displays any of the following symptoms, that's when we know that corruption is the diagnosis. Those in power favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. Those in power appointing friends and associates to positions of authority without proper qualifications. After being elected, they go from servant leaders to public gods. Why do we need the minister's approval to get land or a job in the public service? Why is it that the minister can give tax exemption to those who they want? Ever wondered, why do we have a debt of over $4 billion and barely have anything in our country to show for it? Why is it that only some people get help from their era representative? Why is there less grocery bag distribution and financial relief to those who really need it? Nepotism, cronyism, abuse of ministerial power, misuse of public funds are all symptoms of corruption. Corruption is bad for the country and our economy. Now you tell us, is GOB suffering from a bad case of corruption? Let's cure this.
Why, Tony?
Boy, kid, what you going on, man?
I'm actually going to see you because I need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because I run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just noted the last batch must be about like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have anything? What are you going on?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
Hey guys, I'm Brighton Cod, and I want to tell you about an app that's going to change the insurance game. Imagine insurance made easy. That's exactly what Home Protector Insurance has done with the new HPI app. Instant claims, fast transactions, and real-time updates are just a few of the ways this insurance app is going to change your life. Whether it's for your car, your house, your life, or any of the other services provided, HPI app has got you covered. With a user-friendly interface, only with Home Protector can you get all your insurance needs in the palm of your hands. But don't take my word for it. Download the app, give it a try. Let me know what you think. And if you're not insured with Home Protector, then we've got to have a serious talk.
This morning, the news of multiple terminations at the Belize City Council spread like wildfire on social media. But Mayor Bernard Wagner told News 5 the employees in question are all of retirement age, and the council is to begin enforcing the City Council Act. He says keeping them on the payroll is costing Citco hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Termination, no. Retirement, yes. Right? And it has not occurred as yet. We, upon assuming office in 2018, there has been this ongoing situation of unchecked retirement, and the City Council Act clearly states that retirement age is at the age of 55. And I believe previous administrations found it that to not retire for political expediency. We found that where there are over 50 plus employees, Andrea, that are here, that are working with the council over that retirement age. Some of them have even reached a point of being over 70 years. Some, a couple, I believe, in the 72, 73 years neighborhood. And so we had to address it, because what has been happening here is that we have 50 employees that are continuously accruing gratuity, pension benefits, severance benefit as you go along, and that situation, if left untended, could become a situation down the road. We look at it that if we leave it as is, by the end of 2021, Andrea, that number will grow to about 70 employees. And it will cost the council about $500,000. If we leave it again until 2024, that number will increase to 100 employees, costing the council about a gratuity liability of $1.4 million, right? And so while it's always a tough position to reach to this point, it's not termination. It is essentially really retiring those individuals that have reached the age of 55.
Wagner says the workers will be going into retirement in 3 phases. As of July, 21 employees over the age of 60 years old. In August, 22 employees between the ages of 57 to 59. And the final stage in September will impact 10 employees between 55 and 57 years old. Wagner says that they have met with the union because some of their members are being impacted. The Belize National Fire Service headquarters has relocated to 2 temporary sites in Belize City. You'll recall that the previous UDP administration sold the fire station to Atlantic Bank before the general elections. Today, personnel were removing the final pieces of equipment as they closed off operations on Cleghorn Street. Fire Chief Colin Gillett tells us more.
We've separated operations from administration. So the operations with the fire truck, the ladies who answer the phone, those are at Marion Jones Stadium, the downstairs, which has ample space for all the trucks, all the equipment. Our mechanics are over there. And that we see that as a better place for us to stay for now, because if you look at how the issues we had here, just coming out of the yard, there was always people waiting in line to go to the bank, blocking the traffic, and the trucks that we have to take more than one swing just to come out. If you can imagine a Friday evening at 3 o'clock, it's it's not good for our operations, right? In Marion Jones, they come out, they drive, they can go in either direction. The administration building is actually now on Sunrise Avenue. You know where Burt Road is? Right. So that's temporary until we build the one on Chetumal Street, which then will make it a lot better than what we have now. If you look around with the building, it's been here for a while and it's been deteriorating over the years. There's a lot of cracks in the building. The electrical needs to be redone. The plumbing needs. So it was either get a new building or try to spend massive amounts of money to fix this one. What we're doing with the new building, which is supposed to be built on Chatham Street, they will also have a fire truck there. The idea is to have more than multiple stations so that we can then coordinate and be able to attack a fire incident faster and have a more coordinated approach to it.
In September of 2020, the Barrow administration press office said that the proceeds of the sale of the building to Atlantic Bank for $2.8 million would allow it to, quote, build a much better building at a cost of $3.3 million. That would include a water storage and tanking system on site for less than half the price paid 28 years ago, unquote. At the time, the government said the new building would be built in the Lake Independence area. As viewers may recall, the Belize Fire Station headquarters was originally built in 1992 under a contract for $8 million. A Guatemalan chatero is being accused of shooting a police officer in the Toledo district. Reports are that the police constable Ronaldo Camara was on his way from San Jose, Hawaii with a joint patrol team when he stopped at a river to fetch water. Camara reportedly fell behind the patrol, and in the process of catching up, he encountered two Hispanic male persons. Both Hispanic males were reportedly armed. One of the men allegedly fired a gunshot in PC Camara's direction, which caught him to the left calf. Camara reportedly fired back, and the men managed to escape. The patrol team located Camara shortly after, and he was escorted to the Punta Gorda Polyclinic, where he is listed in a stable condition. A 17-year-old female minor reportedly involved in the murders of Gonzalo Rosado and Wayne Cadle was granted bail when she appeared in court this morning. The young woman was charged with 4 counts related to conspiracy to commit murder and was represented in court today by attorney Earl Hamilton. News 5 spoke with Hamilton by phone this morning, and he told us about the conditions for the teenager's temporary release from custody.
I am representing a minor that the police have proffered 4 charges against two counts of conspiracy to commit murder and 2 counts of abetment to commit murder. This is in relation to murder charges that are proffered against other defendants that I am not involved in relation to the matter of Gonzalo Rosado and Wayne Cadle. My client was taken into custody over the weekend, and charges were proffered. And today we went to the Enquevejo Magistrate Court for my client to be formally arraigned. So she was arraigned, and she's to return back to court on the 31st of August. No plea was taken, as these matters are indictable matters. These are matters that will be tried. From my instructions, my client was on Belizean soil when she was taken to the police station in the company of her parents. Bail was granted to date, even though the prosecution objected, and bail was granted in the sum of $5,000 plus 1 surety in the same amount. And conditions were set that she's to observe a curfew, and she's to report to the Enquevejo police station in the company of an officer of the community rehab department from San Ignacio or Benque.
Authorities are investigating the discovery of skeletal remains in the Mosquitoville area of San Ignacio. According to police, bones and skull, along with some pieces of garments, were discovered in some high bushes in an isolated area. Police say the identity of the person remains uncertain. The remains were taken to the National Forensic Lab, where it awaits a post-mortem examination. Today, Aider Radiel Sanchez, a resident of San Roman Village in the Corzal district, was slapped with a slew of charges. He was identified as the driver of a pickup that allegedly crashed head-on into a car, killing Assistant Superintendent of Police Fernando Neal and injuring another officer. The accident occurred between miles 76 and 77 on the Philip Golson Highway on the night of June 19th. Today, police formally arrested and charged Sanchez for causing death by careless conduct, manslaughter by negligence, failure to keep as close as possible on the right-hand side of the road, failing to report an accident, negligent harm, driving a motor vehicle without due care and attention, and 2 counts of failing to stop and render aid. The latter is because Sanchez fled the scene after the crash. The 26-year-old was arraigned in the Corzal Magistrate Court and was granted bail of $8,000. Debt levels were high for many countries prior to COVID-19, but the pandemic has worsened the situation in many low and middle-income countries. Revenue collection and economic activity have declined drastically, making it hard to service debts. The government of Belize, in collaboration with the Commonwealth Secretariat, is looking for financial instruments available in the Caribbean, such as debt for climate swaps. This is not new to Belize, since there was one such swap in the early 2000s. But the situation is different this time around, prompting GOB to look carefully before it leaps. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Debt for climate swap is an innovative financial arrangement that is once again being explored by the Caribbean region to help with the economic crunch and the struggles to meet debt obligations. Today, the Commonwealth Secretariat held a webinar with key stakeholders from Belize and other CARICOM states.
It is happening at a time when our countries are facing multiple challenges relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, challenges in resilient economic recovery, and the incremental adverse effects of climate change. Many economies in our region have been negatively impacted with increased debt burden and have the challenge of investing resources towards climate action. Debt for climate and nature swap is an option for our countries to explore the potential to address these issues.
According to Climate Change Minister Orlando Habet, involvement and engagement of the Ministry of Finance is crucial to ensuring effective and appropriate financial recovery mechanisms. Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Coe, says Belize ultimately does not need debt for climate swap. It needs debt relief, climate resilience, and sustainable human development. But he attended the webinar today to find out more.
The current price of Belize's super bond is in or around 40 cents on the dollar. If a debt for nature swap is achieved at that discounted price, that discount is not necessarily a benefit achieved by the swap itself. That was a market-determined discount on the basis of a market-based assessment of the repayability of such bond, given Belize's expected economic situation over the remaining life of the bond. Since that is not necessarily a benefit achieved by the swap, then it follows that the absence of a debt for nature swap-based benefit does not provide a sufficient justification for the discount then to be paid by way of funding local climate or environmental projects. Will the swap enable the funding of those resource losses, for example through supplementary grant funding? If not, is the swap worth the costs? So while we are grateful to our partners for their efforts to assist us to confront the increasing challenges ahead, I want us to strengthen our position by fully informing ourselves on all the relevant factors, costs, and implications.
So to ensure that the country would get value for foregoing human development opportunities in areas such as agriculture, an overview of updated information about the debt for nature mechanisms must be forthcoming so that informed decisions can be made. The Commonwealth Secretariat's Climate Finance Access Hub is assisting with just that.
A multifaceted challenge requires a multifaceted solution. Debt for climate and nature swaps can help address this major obstacle. These financial instruments can help address the public debt levels while at the same time provide resources to help countries build resilience to climate change. The Commonwealth Secretariat and its Commonwealth Climate Finance Access Hub is supporting its member countries to enhance their access to climate finance.
The tendency thus far is to focus on the acquisition and management costs of these areas to be protected with minimal consideration given to the cost associated with the human development opportunities that we forego by putting these resources under protected status. That is a critical cost factor that we not only need to quantify, but if we proceed with a swap, we need to have developed and funded alternative plans for.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Statutory Instrument number 57 of 2021 may have been passed and slipped under the radar of most people, but not the fisherfolk community, who today came out expressing their discontent with the access it gives to foreign nationals to fish within Belizean waters. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Back in 2019, the UDP administration issued legislation to exclude foreign nationals who have obtained residency in Belize from being eligible for commercial fishing licenses. 2 years later, under a new PUP government, the Ministry of Blue Economy reverses this through SI 57 of 2021, which allows for the participation of permanent residents in the fishing industry of Belize. This has sparked outrage.
So if you bring in more people from across the border, how we can survive? Well, when I started to fish, there was a lot less fishermen, so we used to do good. But as the years went by, you get more and more fishers, and now I catch like less, about a quarter what I used to catch. So I know everybody had to catch less. You understand me? And if you bring in more people, then we are even catch less.
But the Ministry of Blue Economy says that these persons are being scapegoated for the overfishing of fish stocks in Belize. According to a ministry release, permanent residents are not responsible. In fact, in the past, the number of licensed permanent residents did not exceed 40, while the fisher population in Belize is over 3,400. The ministry's firm position is that permanent residents who have met the legal requirements should be afforded the opportunity to participate in the industry.
My brother, we fishermen out there, they kill one another for a little piece of lobster ground. And if the minister is the minister where they go on right now, none know that we have serious problem. If Guatemala or Honduras or Mexico, we have them come fishing off we water, brother, because right now we Belizean, we barely could get along with the little bit of ground we have here.
I sacrificed a lot. I just left net. We just accept the banning of net. Okay, we love we reef so much that we don't want these people from outside. We don't have no kind of respect for a reef or respect for a patch or respect for a river mouth. And then things come and set net. So I take the sacrifice and left net. You have to go on residency, prove a residency to get your license. And things don't work. I know people who got license right now when live across the border. I know. I go show you if I live. I know if I live across the border, and they have license. Every time you have an election, you see so much bus load of people come across and come vote. No, they are getting. I mean, don't glad because now they couldn't get one fishing license. Now they could get a fishing license. How do you think I feel? 48 years I do fishing.
Right now, we don't know who these permanent residents people are and which area they will be given access to. And that's what these guys are concerned about. We had lobbied with the then administration to ensure that we protect the benefit of our Belizean fishers. Now, how can you tell me that a permanent resident can come to our jewel, state that they live here for 6 months and get access to our fishery? When we have our fishermen right here, right now, some of their kids can't even access the fishery and are unable to get a fisherfolk's license. It's difficult. So we can't accept that.
But the Belize Federation of Fishers, who have since come out to condemn the enacting of the SI, says that the reversal of the ban on permanent residents to obtain commercial fishing licenses occurred without consultation. So what's the next step?
There is a system and structure that we believe should be in place in order to ensure that our fishers are treated fairly. And we believe that if we given that opportunity to meet at the table to discuss these issues, we believe that we can address these guys' problem. But as it is right now, we believe that what the minister and the Ministry of Blue Economy did without any type of consultation is unjust to these guys. And we're asking the minister to ensure that he rescind what he has done, because SI 57 of 2021 is unfair, it's unjust.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
When it comes to illegal fishing, the Ministry of Blue Economy says that it is a complex matter that requires a multi-pronged approach to ensure its deterrence and elimination. There are concerns of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, which the ministry says is addressing in coordination with fisheries enforcement officers, the Belize Coast Guard, and Marine Protected Areas personnel. After the break, the Attorney General has had to remove herself from a case. Find out why she says she has to leave it to someone else this time around. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Development and Housing is creating a registry for contractors with varying disciplines, qualifications, capacities, and skills. This will centralize all registered contractors in efforts of creating equal employment opportunity across the public and private sector, as well as will give confidence for owners in quality of listed contractors. Contractors will be categorized by the following disciplines: 1. General building. 2. Civil works road construction. 3. Bridge construction. 4. Land development. 5. Tradesperson. And 6. Specialist contractor. Applications can be gotten free of charge from the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing for the next 90 days or via email from the Project Execution Unit. Initial applications to the registry will be processed up to the 27th of August 2021. For more information, you can email ceo.secretary@mow.gov.bz or peu@midh.gov.bz. Register today and do your part to build Belize.
RF&G Insurance wants you to be prepared for the hurricane season. When assembling your hurricane preparation kit, be sure to include first aid supplies, extra batteries and chargers, at least 3 days of non-perishable food and water, flashlights, supply of any necessary medication, battery-operated radio. RF&G Insurance Company Limited, where it pays to get it right.
In exercise of the power conferred upon it by Section 7 of the Electricity Act, Chapter 221 of the Laws of Belize, and with the approval of the Minister, the Public Utilities Commission (PUC), the Commission hereby notifies the general public that it intends to enact a bylaw in relation to electricity procurement and power purchase. The bylaw shall govern the procurement processes for wholesale, distributed energy resources, and short-term power purchases by addressing the roles of the Commission and the utilities. The bylaw seeks to secure public welfare, national security, and services at the best value for money. Further clarify the exercise by the Commission of its duties under the Public Utilities Commission Act and Electricity Act. Provide for increased conservation and efficiency of electricity resources by utilities and equitable retail rates for consumers, and detail the RFP and PPA processes. Regulatory tools to achieve the Commission's public interest mandate of setting tariffs for the provision of electricity service to the public. Members of the public are invited to give their comments by email info@puc.bz or post by 17 July 2021. The draft bylaw may be viewed in its entirety at the offices of the Commission at 41 Gabriel Lane, Belize City, or on the PUC website at www.puc.bz.
No sense at all, no kind of sense. That Belize video when I have that sign up there in China for.
That not in China at all, that in Spanish.
You understand what he said then?
Yeah. He said wear your face mask properly, cover your nose and your mouth.
Will help prevent the spread of COVID to others. Together we could make Belize safe.
Wear your mask properly over your mouth and nose to protect yourself and others. Together we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
Last week, the acting Chief Justice ruled that the past administration violated Maya customary land tenure for the residents of Halakter. The village and 2 men were awarded $6.3 million as settlement in the case, which arose after the former administration approved the upgrade of the Halakter Road between 2013 and 2015. While the road works were welcomed by many in the south, some farmlands were destroyed. Attorney General Magali Marin-Young was previously the legal advisor for the claimants. But now that she is the Attorney General, she sits on the opposite side. This week, News 5 asked her about the case.
The AG ministry functions like a law firm, and we're the law firm for each ministry. So the AG and the Crowns act on the instructions of each minister on a particular matter. So it is true that I acted for the Mayans in that particular case, but the instructions would have to come from the minister responsible for Indigenous affairs.
How would your advice factor into that matter?
Well, clearly, my firm acted for the Mayan land rights, and I have tried to remove myself. So I have left it to the Assistant Solicitor General, Ms. Samantha Matut, to advise Minister Dolores, and for her, Minister Dolores, to give Ms. Matut instructions on that. Clearly, I have to rely on the professionalism of the Crowns at the AG Ministry, who have been involved for the other side of the case. So I have to remove myself, and they will be advising Minister Dolores. These cases are not personal to us. These cases are argued based on the facts and merits, and I have confidence that Minister Dolores will get sound advice from the Crowns, who are currently responsible for it.
Speaking with the press on Monday, former AG Michael Perifid says that he would advise the government to appeal the matter. Last month, Dylan Vernon, former ambassador to the European Union, wrote a letter to the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee asking them to rethink the Belize Constitution 10th Amendment Bill 2021. Vernon wrote that the government's good governance approach is encouraging, but the bill is, quote, an unfortunate departure from this otherwise commendable start, unquote. The draft legislation is seeking to require each member of the Belize Advisory Council, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, the Public Services Commission, and the Security Services Commission to vacate their seat once the National Assembly is dissolved after his or her appointment. Vernon says he is concerned that this proposed legislation seems poorly conceived, and that's likely to go against the key principles of democratic governance of these constitutionally enshrined bodies. But the Attorney General, Magali Marin-Young, disagrees.
Well, I do have to respectfully disagree with his position on it. From a legal perspective, we are not unique in that enactment. St. Kitts has a similar provision which brings to an end the tenure of commission members upon the dissolution of Parliament. But notwithstanding that other countries have similar provision, the Constitution was designed in such a way to have a certain structure on these commissions. So, for example, the Public Services Commission, I think, has 5 members. And I think all but 1 is appointed by the Prime Minister after consultation with the leader of the opposition, or 2, all but 2. So what you could have is a situation where, and these commissioners are appointed for a certain period of time. In some instances, it's 3 years. The point is there's a certain construct, a certain structure And if these members do not resign when Parliament is dissolved, you could upset that particular structure as designed by the framers of the Constitution. So you could have all members appointed by a particular party in government. And what the amendment does, it's, at least in the Public Services Commission, it is actually including the unions to have a rep. Currently, they don't have a rep on that commission. I think it's just by practice that the government tries to, but what the amendment does, it formally allows them to have a rep on that commission.
Another one of those good governance measures that the government introduced back in May is the Protected Disclosures Bill of 2021, popularly known as the Whistleblowers Legislation. It seeks to protect whistleblowers from being reprimanded when they disclose or reveal corrupt acts committed by public officers or elected officials. Attorney General Magali Marin-Young says the joint unions have sent in written recommendations that will be taken into consideration.
The unions have written to the committee, and there will be further consultations with them on that particular bill. So that bill is subject to review right now. My ministry has been asked to look at the recommendations from the unions and to report back to Cabinet on the matter.
You're not able to discuss any opinions on that at this time, right?
Well, I think some of the comments from the unions were policy oriented, and I don't want to speak ahead of Cabinet's decision on those, because that will be a decision of Cabinet. Some of it, I mean, there is a list.
What about the recommendation from the unions that they would want to see wider consultation with the public? Do you think the government would be minded to allow that on this particular bill?
Well, yes. Let me just say I have indicated to you that the ministry is on the staff in the legal drafting unit. But as a measure of good faith, the government wanted to show the unions that it was serious about good governance. And so it asked us to prioritize good governance bills, and the protected disclosures is one of them. So we did not have much chance. The Crowns tried to do a comparative review in the region, and their draft was based on that review and what they felt could work within the domestic legal framework. But the unions have put forward their comments, and we will study them, and Cabinet will be deciding on those.
Former Attorney General Michael Parafit was also asked to weigh in on the whistleblowers legislation. And he says that while it hasn't been fully ventilated in the public and his party hasn't discussed it, he has some preliminary personal concerns with the bill. Parafit says that while he believes it could lead to malicious acts to tarnish a person's reputation, he hopes that the bill would contain measures whereby mischief makers are held accountable.
Well, we have a UDP group of people who liaise with the unions on matters like these, and we haven't gotten back from them specifically what they would like to see in the bill. We have our views, but we haven't finalized those views in the party as yet, so I don't want to preempt us by discussing what my personal views are on it. We are still waiting for the unions to meet with us so we can discuss it before it comes up in the House, and I think there's a House meeting on July 2nd. And we're thinking that maybe it could come up at that particular House meeting, but we don't know. In principle and in concept, I always say if you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to fear. If you are doing what you're supposed to be doing within the public service regulations and you are a public servant, then you can whistleblow me all you want, because then you will find nothing. My only concern in terms of making it wide, to be honest with you, is that we have to be very careful as to how we accuse people of things. I think it's become far too easy in this society for any fool with a computer and a fake profile can just go up and say something about people, and for some reason the rest of the population just takes it as gospel. I think that while you cannot punish people who whistleblow or point out wrongdoings of other people. I think people should be punished if they just tarnish other people's name with no evidence.
There is more from the UDP chairman after the break, including his view that the Prime Minister is being naive about the super bond. Stay with us.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get 19 to 25% off selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie power tools, Charbroil barbecue grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's. Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected.
Okay everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Last month, PM John Briceño discussed narco-trafficking with President Alejandro Giammattei during his time in Guatemala. Former Attorney General Michael Perifit says that he hopes Briceño gets all the multinational help needed to tackle this criminal activity.
And I know that we work very closely with the Americans when it comes to these jets. I find it very amusing that, you know, our partners, especially the Americans, they have equipment that could look from space down to Belize and tell you if an orange is sun-kissed or comes from Stanpic Valley. So I can't understand how come they don't have an equipment that could tell you where a plane in when it enters Belizean airspace. That has always been very, very curious to me, that I don't understand that. But I don't blame the Prime Minister. Do whatever you can to work with whoever you can to try and make sure that those planes that land here don't land here anymore. We don't need the stigma. We don't need the bad reputation of us having a country where these planes can land. It was an annoyance for us when I was Minister of National Security, but it was just that we depend on the technology of other nations, that expensive technology that they have, and by the time the plane would land and we would locate it, by the time the BSAG officers would get there, it would be almost too late. I hope the Prime Minister can now appreciate the difficulty that comes with dealing with these narco planes.
As we reported over the last few weeks, Belize has gotten an extension of its international bond payment. But UDP Chairman Michael Perifit says that he remains concerned about how this will play out because he believes PM John Briceño is very naive when it comes to charting the Superbond waters.
There are always negotiations, and I don't know that the bondholders have withdrawn their position of the requirement of an IMF program. I am not surprised that they granted the extension. It's normal that you grant the extension, especially when you're going through a negotiation process. So I wish the government all the best. I hope they're successful. I kind of plan to live in Belize for the rest of my life and to make sure that our financial institutions and our financial structure is strong is in my best interest, as I have to live here and can't live anywhere else. So I wish them all the best. As I said before, I offered to be of assistance and was flatly rejected, which is fine. This is their mandate. The people put them in government and they have to do what they think it's best. But I am concerned about the possible naivete with which the government is approaching the situation. I was shocked, actually, when the Prime Minister said in his budget speech that all of this will be wrapped up by me. I mean, when he said that, I said to myself, my goodness, this is a man who clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. It's not going to be wrapped up by me. We're now in the middle of June and we're nowhere near wrapping up this. So my only concern at this point is just the cost of doing it, as the other side starts to have lawyers at $1,500 an hour, US dollars an hour. And as our bills start to rack up, the longer the process takes. It is indeed in the best interest of Belize for it to be wrapped up quickly, but wrapped up in a way that's in the best interest of us. Other than that, I have no idea as to the details of the proceedings or anything like that.
When we return, could your shot against COVID give you a shot at winning prizes? Find out who is eligible to enter the vaccination raffles when we come back. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize, with funding from the Engender and Spotlight Project.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Since it started the COVID-19 vaccination rollout, the Ministry of Health's goal has been to get 251,000 Belizeans over the age of 18 fully vaccinated. But 3 months later, only 8% of this population has taken advantage of the vaccinations being offered. To increase these numbers, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is looking at incentives. And as News 5's Paul Lopez found out, some other agencies and private sector entities are also joining the vaccination drive with some temptations of their own. They're using that ever-popular game of chance, the raffle.
What we're doing is we're teaming up with some of our businesses to provide incentives to people who get out and get vaccinated. We're also looking to see, Marlene, how we can ease up, how we can allow people who have been fully vaccinated some other measures of freedom, so to speak, that those who have not yet been vaccinated would not be allowed to enjoy.
One of the first organizations to capitalize on Belizeans' love of the chance to win something was St. Martin de Porres Parish in Belize City. They announced that as of June 14th, anyone who gets vaccinated at the Swift Hall will be entered into a raffle. $500 gift prizes are included in the raffle, as well as appliances. The Belize Police Department is also using a raffle to try and increase their vaccine uptake, which is currently less than 20%. On June 17th, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams announced that the department is raffling a night for two at a resort.
What I will be doing as of today is that every police officer who gets vaccinated, their name will go in a thing for a raffle, and we're raffling a night for two at Kana Resort in the Kyle district. The night for two will also include continental breakfasts and the likes. So it is done with a move to try and provide some incentive to officers who may want to be vaccinated. And I know that there are some people who are fearful of getting vaccinated, but I believe that it's a good thing.
And on Friday, June 18th, RFNG held a vaccination drive for the public at the Gordon House compound on Coney Drive in Belize City. Those who showed up to take the COVID-19 vaccine on that day were also entered into a raffle. RFNG had a wide range of possible prizes.
One of the reasons to get persons to come out is not only to take the vaccine, because this is what it's based around, but we decided to just throw in a little incentive in there as well. So one of the tactics that we have used is for every person that takes the vaccine today, they get to, and their name gets entered in a raffle, and we're giving 4 prizes off today. We're giving 2 baskets, one from RFNG Life, one from Madisco. We're doing a dinner for 2 at Biltmore, and then we're also doing, which I call the grand prize, from Sunbreeze Hotel, which is a night stay for 2 persons and 2 kids if you have any kids that you want to take along with you.
While the Belize Tourism Board giveaway features 3 luxury staycation packages for some lucky frontline workers and members of the general public who take their first dose between June 10th and August 31st.
For the Grand Carib Staycation package, you get $2,500 cash. You get a round-trip ticket via Tropicare for 2 persons. You get 2 nights stay at Grand Carib. You get breakfast for the 2 days, and you get a memorable sunset cruise. If you win the Naya vacation, you get $2,500 cash. You get the travel via Tropicare to Placencia for 2 persons again. You get 2 nights stay, breakfast for 2 days. You get a wonderful beachfront dinner, and you get a couple's massage. So we encourage each and everyone listening or looking at this newscast to get vaccinated as soon as possible.
To enter the BTB raffle, frontline workers should post an image with their vaccination card on social media with the hashtag FrontlineHeroBZ. Any other person should use the hashtag BelizeVaccineChamp with their image. The Ministry of Health is currently in phase 4 of its vaccination rollout plan. This phase includes all public servants that were not covered in the first 3 phases, as well as transportation workers, both public and private. Persons who fall under phases 1, 2, and 3 who have not taken the vaccine are encouraged to go and do so.
I keep on saying, the medical team keeps on saying that the advantage of being vaccinated far, far outweighs any side effect that you may suffer. So again, we're teaming up with the business community to see how we can best get incentives out there.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
News 5 understands that additional businesses and corporations, including a couple of the main grocery chains in Belize City, will roll out their vaccination incentives. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.